Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the um, AEW elevation for the 3rd of May 2021. Again, the show has good things on it. I would rather watch this than Raw, even with all the squash matches. That being said, there's too many matches, as is always the case, and many of the people don't belong on the program, or it doesn't make sense for them to be there. Um, they're trying to tighten the show up, and it shows, but at the same time, it's still longer than it should be, shorter than it used to be, so at least they're trying. Anyway, Miro defeats Will Aldi. Obviously, dominant performance by Miro. Aldi gets a little bit of offense in, but it doesn't do anything against the power of Miro. Uh, Basically, Miro is challenging for championships soon. That's what he says he wants. He hits the game over. He submits him. He is 6-0 in singles competition in AEW at this point. And then we move to Abaddon and Rio Mizunami. I'm not a fan of Rio Mizunami because she's not distinguishable from the other Japanese women that's there. And Abaddon is a gimmick that basically is a ripoff of Mankind meets The Undertaker meets Kane in female form. It's a interesting attempt, but belongs on independent shows, not on a national product, in my opinion. And I'm not a fan. Certainly different gimmicks between the two. Abaddon bites Mizunami's arm to counter the chops, turns into a competitive match. Abaddon, uh, has improved, but not at a level where she should be with a national company. She wins with her Cemetery Drive, which is a gory special neck breaker. Obviously, biggest win in AEW so far. I guess that means Mizunami's going home soon because, let's be honest, why would you take a Japanese talent and have her lose to a goofy gimmick if you had more plans for her? Moxley defeats Andrew Palace. I hate when John Moxley is on these shows. It's so Bush League, it doesn't make sense. Obviously, strong performance by Moxley, wins by submitting Palace with a rear naked choke, but he doesn't need to be on internet shows that, less than half a million people watch when he used to be on programs that were watched by over a million. I just don't understand that psychology. 10 of the Dark Order defeats D3. 10 wins the match by submission. With a full Nelson, he improves to 13-1. They're pushing the heck out of him. I don't get why. I wouldn't have put him on AEW Dynamite a couple of weeks ago. This is his first match since losing to Darby Allin, which was his first singles lost. D3 is the first Italian wrestler to wrestle in AEW. He was away for several months, obviously coming back with the whole pandemic thing kind of slowing down in some areas anyway. Orange Cassidy with Chris Statlander defeats VSK. VSK is another talent I don't get why they use on a regular basis. I wonder if he's on the ring crew or something similar. Cassidy's longest match here. He ends up winning with a beach brawl, and he has not lost a singles match in 2021. The potential romance angle with Chris Statlander does intrigue me at some point. FTR against the Hughes brothers. Hughes brothers are the sons, I believe, of Devon Dudley. Former tag team champions, the FTR, which to me they're the best tag team in wrestling and being wasted here in AEW, and that makes me sad. They will be in the Blood and Guts match this Wednesday, however. FTR is awesome. And the announcers, which is Tony Schiavone and Paul White, announced this pretty well. I wish White was on Dynamite as opposed to Excalibur, but then again, I wouldn't even. I might hire Excalibur to be a mime. Anyway, match also has some decent tag moves. Hughes brothers get more offense than expected. Hopefully, within a year, they're a tag team that's a force in AEW because I'm partial to second generation talents. Ultimately, FTR wins the match with the big rig, which I don't know why they have a move that's a nod to Brody Lee, but that is what it is. Nyla Rose with Vicky Guerrero against Maddie Wendrowski. I'm not a fan of either one of these talents, and they would be cut from my company because I don't see anything in either one. Rose and Wazowski have been a tag team previously. Rose attacks and left her alone a couple weeks ago. Big Swell and Red Velvet pick up the win in their previous match. Guerrero insults Justin Roberts and gives the referee some money. Wazowski goes after the former women's champion. That feels like so long ago. But Rose takes control. It's over. Rose hits the Beast Bomb for the win. Nick Kanemaru with the Factory defeats Baron Black, another guy that I don't understand why he's there every week. Squash match for Kanemaru. He controls the match from the beginning to the end, winning with a powerbomb in the end. Then Red Velvet defeats Riki Takada, Takada's first wrestler from Samoa to wrestle in AEW, which is kind of a cool thing. I like that little detail. She makes her AEW debut again at the house show during WrestleMania weekend. She's also a student in Nightmare Factory. They have a lot of those here. She gets offense during the match, which results in one of the most competitive matches of the week. Red Velvet, who honestly to me is overpushed and has been downplayed since the Shaq thing. Wins the bout following a spinning kick. Her and Cargill should go at it sooner rather than later, mainly because otherwise it's going to lose all interest. Private Party with Matt Hardy defeats Duke Davis and Gannon Jones. Private Party to me, they remind me of the SAT days where there was very little psychology to the SAT, but people loved them because they did flippy floppy things. That's what Private Party reminds me of here in 2021, and I shudder to think that they're with a national company. Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy win the match. They do a little bit better as heels than they did as baby faces. It just comes out more naturally for them. Obviously, they are knockoffs of the Young Bucks and the Hardys, and it shows. Anyway, Jones and Davis do pretty okay in the match and get a near fall on Private Party. Cassidy rolls up Davis as Hardy prevents Jones from breaking up the pin by holding his leg. Throwaway match that didn't need to happen. Thunder Rosa defeats Willow Nightingale. I wish they had more direction with Thunder Rosa's character. Nightingale's first AEW debut, first match. She puts on a really competitive match with Rosa. Nightingale goes for moonsault. Rosa picks her up and counters with the fire throw driver to win the match. Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker feuding over the women's championship would be good for business. They probably won't do it, but I can dream, can't I? QT Marshall with the Factory defeats Dylan McQueen. McQueen is a student at the Nightmare Factory. He's facing Marshall. And Marshall has control for most of the match. Works his nose for part of the match, which I don't think I've ever seen in wrestling before. And Marshall wins with the Crossroads. Post-match, Marshall delivers a piledriver on McQueen on the steel steps. Ouch. Makes a statement ahead of his Wednesday match with Cody Rhodes, which that's the first rematch you give us. I don't get it. Anyway, Austin, Colton Gunn defeat Chaos Project. And Chaos Project remains a team that honestly I would let go of in a heartbeat. Anyway, so basically they use some weaponry, and Serpentico is still used as a weapon. And the guns are decent, but they need direction. They've gone on too far. Colton wins Colt 45 to Serpentico. The Gun Brothers are 3-0 in competition. Anyway, main event or final match of the show, because I refuse to call what they put out here a main event. Matt Hardy and the Blade with the Hardy Family Office defeating Dark Order's Colt Cabana and Allen 5 Angels. Hardy and the group have been feuding with the Dark Order for a while, several months. This is another competitive match. Angels looks good and is the MVP. I think they're wasting him in the Dark Order. him and Alex Reynolds to me are wasted in the Dark Order, and the rest of the Dark Order goofs could just melt into an abyss. Um, there's a ringside brawl between both factions. Hardy gets the win with the Leech of Angels submission, and is what it is. We'll be back with Dark and NXT later tonight, and some WCW Saturday Night Review as well. Over 1,200 items available, so definitely check that out. Till next time, everybody.